Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Your time is valuable, and I want to make it worth your commitment to watch by making this content valuable to you. It is because of the leaders like you who serve in the many ways like you do that our church is impacting more families than ever before. Every week we are growing and new families are making us their church home. I believe every person who comes is important. You've heard me say it before. Every number has a name, every name has a story, and every story matters to God. This is why one of our cultural values here at Westside Leavenworth is building relationships in everything we do. Last month, we talked about our cultural value of excellence. We defined excellence as doing the best with what we have because Jesus gave his best for us. Today, I want to share with you how and why we are building relationships in everything we do. This value shapes how we literally do everything. Jesus doesn't want us to be a church who just does things. He wants us to be a community who builds relationships because relationships lead to true discipleship. We join Jesus in making disciples by building relationships with one another. Discipleship happens on the rails of relationships. This is why we will build relationships in everything we do. I like to say, what we do is only as important as who we do it with and who we do it for. When we see every activity as an opportunity to build relationships, it changes how we interact with the people around us. Serving is an opportunity for us to build relationships. Jesus modeled this in how he came to save the world. Mark 10:45 says, "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many." Jesus changed the world by building relationships. Our impact as a church will be determined by the relationships we build. That is why we want to build relationships in everything we do. We build relationships by building trust with others. When we build trust with others, we gain influence into their lives. When we gain influence into their lives, we have the opportunity to lead them in following Jesus by loving Jesus, becoming like Jesus, and sharing Jesus. That's what making disciples is all about. So here are 3 ways for you to build relationships in everything you do. 1, remember their name. We are ACE leaders who are accepting, challenging, and encouraging others. And one of the simplest ways to tell someone they're accepted and valued is by simply remembering their name. This takes work. And with as many people as we have, I'm not the best at it. But I keep on trying because I see it is important to building relationships. One of the things I tell my kids is we remember people's names because it lets them know they are important. So do your best to remember the names of those you serve and those with whom you serve. Remembering their names builds the relationship, and building the relationship builds trust. Trust then gives us the influence to lead others to follow Jesus. So 1, remember their name. Number 2, ask, how are you really doing? When you are serving in a classroom with someone or as a door host or working together on a project and you ask, how you doing? If they do the quick, doing good, turn the question again and ask, how are you really doing? When you are serving with each other, we can be there for each other by asking this question, how are you really doing? We can also be there for the people we are serving by asking them, how are you really doing? It shows we care. People need to know someone cares. And asking, how are you really doing, serves as a reminder that we can't do this life alone. And it keeps relationships as the priority, not the task at hand as the priority. So remember their name. Number 2, ask, how are you really doing? And 3, ask, how can I pray for you? When you're in the craziness of a kids group, take the opportunity to pull your co-leader aside and ask them how you can pray for them. When you see the person that you met last week and you remember their name, and then you ask, how are you really doing? Follow up by asking, how can I pray for you? And then, when you get the opportunity, take the time to pray with them right there. Don't wait or say, hey, I will be praying. Prioritize the relationship over the task and pray for them right there. It doesn't have to be a long prayer, just sincere. We are leaders who serve, and we lead by building relationships in everything we do. This is what leads us to being able to influence someone to trust in and follow Jesus. So now it's your turn to start building relationships in everything you do. I'm not meaning only everything that you do for Westside. I mean in everything you do. What would it look like if you were to employ this value at your workplace, or when you volunteer at your school, or when you're attending the next social event or game? When we build relationships, we build trust that builds influence. And our influence is what will lead others to follow Jesus. So remember their name and ask, how are you really doing? And then follow up, how can I pray for you? Thank you for being a leader who serves by building relationships in everything you do. I'm already looking forward to sharing another cultural value with you next month. God bless you as you lead by serving.